Hey folks, welcome back to Game Geeks. I'm your host Kurt Wiegel, for those of you who didn't know or who cared to forget. Today we're reviewing something a little bit different. We're going to review County Road Z. Now this is not our usual fare in that this is not a role-playing game, but it is a miniatures game based on a rural area where you are a survivor, but there are so many layers to this that interlock beautifully that I thought it really deserved a mention. So it's called County Road Z because here in Wisconsin, we might be the only state that does this, our county roads are labeled with letters rather than numbers. So County Road Z, it just implies that this is a zombie thing, and it gives you the idea that it is rural rather than urban. So I'll be honest, a good chunk of this is missions that you go on, like most miniatures games, and you deal with the zombie horde, or individual zombies, or plague dogs, or just however a case may be. But what interlocks this beautifully is you have this game where you can either run solo or cooperative because the zombies operate off of a very simple but very effective AI. So in this game, you play survivors of the zombie horde who go out into the wilderness and they look for supplies, they look for other people, and you take them back to your base. More on that in a moment. The bases are upgradable with different features that you can add. So what you have here, the basic engine itself is roll a d10 and add a number. Variable target number. There you go. You need, for this game, you need some d10s, 30 by 30 playboard, minis, really any will do, some terrain, and tokens just for representation. The basic engine is a d10 plus a skill rank, unless it's something a bit more esoteric or vaguely defined, then it is a d10 plus your tier, which I hesitate to call it a level or a rank, but that's essentially what it is. The higher tier your character, the more skilled and able you are at things. Now, in terms of placement, if you have to randomly place things, there's two options. One of them is coordinate, which takes a little bit more work. And the second one, which I think is an absolute flash of genius, is called radiant, where you roll a d10, you add 3 to the number, and the direction of the point, the upper point of the d10, is the direction that it goes. Campaign turns take essentially 1 week that have 2 principal levels of activity. One of them is the tactical, which is your mission, your skirmish, you go take care of things. The second one is your strategic, where you build your community and base. Almost all actions have a noise value, and that noise value tells you how do you wake up dormant zombies into active or aggressive zombies. Things like a shotgun or a hand grenade have very high noise values, where a bow and arrow is much lower. So in the book, there's a very nice reference table that shows you exactly how the zombies behave. The AI can be condensed down to a box about that big, which is a really good indication of both its utility and its simplicity, which is something, in my experience, most miniatures games have lacked, although I'll freely admit this isn't exactly my forte. The strategic layer, like I said, the strategic layer, which is the sort of the non-combat one, has a mission phase, advancement, planning, and management. So your survivors, as I said, come in tiers. The higher the tier, the more skilled you are at things. For example, a tier 4, which is the hero, you have a skill rank at 4, a skill rank at 3, a skill rank at 2, and a skill rank at 1. Tier 3, which are leaders, 3, 2, 1, 0, further down the list. Starting characters are probably citizens, which is the third down the list, or the second from the bottom, so you have plenty of room to grow, which is a tier 2, which has a skill at 2, a skill at 1, and then that's it. The 4 basic stats are strength, dex, intelligence. All of those are pretty self-explanatory. And the one that needs the more description is cooperation. This is where your character can shine in your community because it shows your ability to work with other people, to work as a team, and to build something beyond just banging a hammer and nail into a piece of wood. Skills rank from 0 to 4. Your starting community has 10 tier levels. So that can be 10 rookies or 5 citizens or a mixture of heroes and leaders to fill out the rank. You gain more people as you progress. You can find survivors and convince them to come back with you, and each one plays a role. One of the more interesting things you find in the community is it has a stress level or an unrest level. Because let's face it, if we've known anything from watching zombie movies that are about anything other than the 30 seconds after the rise, that it gets really stressy and people start to bicker and fight. I won't point to the past few years and how society seems to be coming apart at the seams as an example, but I think you take my meaning. Now, the bases themselves, you have everything from a small town house, church, diner, summer camp, and I have to admit that one really sparked some imagination because I used to go with my son to his Boy Scout camp at Camp Phillips. And when I was there, we were in that fort, and I was like, I wonder how defensible this is in case of a zombie rise. And it's just funny to see it here. A hobby farm, a distillery, a Ren fair, hydroelectric dam, and a regional Ren fair. Some of the base upgrades you can have include everything from a gas grill, which helps with the cooking and the providing for people, flat pack shelves, and video game consoles, which interestingly reduce unrest by 3, but increase the siege threat by 1 because everyone's not walking the walls, they're too busy playing Dig Dug or something. All right. 30 pages of missions and then an ample bestiary follow this up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a slim but very efficient book. If you like zombies, if you like miniatures games, this is clean, self-contained, and absolutely worth your money. For Game Geeks, I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Good day and good gaming.